Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's an unusual case of alleged animal cruelty in Clay County. A man is accused of abusing, housing, and attempting to sell a deer.
Charles Young is charged with animal cruelty, unlawful sale of a game animal, and unlawful possession of a game animal. Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks conservation officers arrested Young this week. He's out of jail on a $3,300 bond. Law enforcement was tipped off by residents about the whitetail. A video of a man talking to a deer was posted on Facebook. That appears to be the page that belongs to Young. There's also a picture of Young with the animal. Investigators say a strap connected to a cinder block kept the deer in the backyard of the Una community home. Law enforcement says the deer was in poor health. There was also no food and water. It was later euthanized per the Department of Wildlife's policy.
A Tishomingo County deputy is hit by a vehicle, and at least 3 people are detained after a chase through 2 counties. The pursuit started in Alcorn County and ended on County Road 302 in Tishomingo County on Thursday. Tishomingo County investigators say as a deputy went to open the driver's side door, he was hit. That's when Tishomingo County deputies shot at the vehicle. It came to a stop a short distance later. Deputies say a passenger in the car was injured and taken to a Tupelo hospital. The driver escaped into the woods. Today, 3 people were arrested in Burnsville in connection with the case. The deputy has some bruising and scratches, but will recover. More information is expected to be released next week. A car stolen from Patriots Country reportedly winds up in the hands of 2 Mississippi men in Monroe County. Deputies arrested Kenny Fields and Antonio Rees for possession of stolen property yesterday. Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says the 2 were driving around Amory in a car reported stolen in Massachusetts. Both suspects are in the Monroe County Detention Center awaiting bond.
A woman is recovering after being shot in the head in Lamar County, Alabama. Sheriff Hal Allred says the shooting happened on Wheat Road near the state line Thursday afternoon. The circumstances surrounding the incident remain unclear tonight. Allred says 21-year-old Tish Thornton was shot in the head and taken to Baptist Golden Triangle by another person who was at the house. Thornton was later taken to a Jackson hospital. Deputies questioned one person but later released him. The incident remains under investigation.
Your official documents may have to wait in Lamar County. Residents there are still waiting on Alabama Governor Kay Ivey to appoint a new probate judge. Johnny Rogers' last day on the job was January 31st. This means cases in probate court such as estates and adoptions cannot proceed. Clerks in the office are able to sign off on deeds along with issuing driver's license and hunting licenses. The governor must appoint a new probate judge. An election would be held at a later date. An email seeking comment from Ivey's spokesperson has not been returned.
Well, on Thursday, Alabama Governor Kay Ivey awarded more than $10 million in community development block grants to 28 regional towns and cities.
One of those towns cashing in is Vernon. Our Victoria Bailey was in Lamar County today to find out where the money is going. She joins us live in the studio with more. Victoria.
$50,000. Thursday, representatives of the city of Vernon, Alabama, took a trip to Montgomery to pick up a big check.
It's really a neat experience for us to go down and let us showcase our town and say, hey, we're from Vernon, Alabama. We thank you for the money, and here's what we're going to do with it. And it was a wonderful day.
The state cut Vernon a $350,000 check. The funds were made available by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and administered by the Alabama Department of Ethics and Community Affairs. Vernon Mayor Glenn Crawford says this kind of money can put the city years ahead of schedule.
The importance of a grant to a city like ours is huge. We got $350,000 given to us. If we work that into our budget, it would take us 8 or 10 years to get that kind of money put back into a category where we could come in and spend it.
Longtime Vernon resident Tim Thompson says this will be a much-needed upgrade for the current old pipes.
Well, it is going to be nice. I've been here about 7 years now, well, closing in on 8, but Yeah, the infrastructure and the water and the sewer definitely is older here, smaller town, and finances are always kind of hard to get. So it's going to be a big plus.
The grant is confined to developing one area of the city that includes the housing projects, the bowling alley, the old garment plant, and the bus barn on Highway 18. In order to obtain the grant, the city had to make a match.
It was a 90-10 grant, so we only have to put up 10% of the grant, the money against the grant funds to receive them, and so we're able to do about $400,000 worth of a project at about a $35,000 to $40,000 expense for the city, which is phenomenal.
Thompson says he's thankful to the state for caring enough about smaller communities to lend a helping hand.
Which is a lot for a town this size. Vernon isn't that big, and I've lived in bigger cities up in the Northwest, Seattle, and places like that. And it's a lot different, but for a small town to get a big boost like that financially and be able to fix things up and make it better for the, the citizens of the community, it's going to be a great thing.
Now, Vernon was among the 27 other cities and towns eligible for state funds.
All right, Victoria, thanks a lot for that story.
All right.
All right, weather-wise here, let's go ahead and just take our weather graphics full if we can, and you'll be able to see that we had a very nice and gorgeous, colorful sunset here this evening. Check that out from Haley. Fantastic color. And parts of the area this evening, there's another picture of that color that was blooming around the Golden Triangle area here about 30 minutes ago. Live look in Columbus, not too much happening right now. We've got temperatures in the 30s. We will continue to cool as we go throughout the evening hours down into the mid to low 20s. The full forecast is coming up.
All right, thanks a lot, Keith. If you heard a bit of a roar near the Columbus Air Force Base this afternoon, it may have been an F-22 Raptor preparing for the 2018 air show season. The plane is part of Air Combat Command's F-22 single ship demonstration team at Joint Base Langley in Virginia. Base personnel and their families lined the tarmac to watch Major Paul Lopez put the Raptor through its paces. Major Lopez's dad was in the Navy, and he says he's living his childhood dream.
I grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and out there they have Naval Air Station Oceana, which is their master jet base. And when I was a little kid, I used to see the F-14 Tomcats and the F-18 Hornets flying over my house, and that's what inspired me to get into fighter aviation.
Looks like a lot of fun out there today. Major Lopez has been an F-22 pilot for 7 years.
Starkville city leaders are working on an ordinance that would allow people to purchase alcohol from a business and then leave with it as long as it remains in a specified area. The Board of Aldermen met today to discuss the Go Cup ordinance. The board has identified Main Street and Cotton District already as two areas that would fall under the guidelines of the ordinance. Mayor Lynn Spruill says there's more work to be done before a final draft is presented.
The Go Cup legislation, which is actually the leisure and entertainment district. According to the legislature. We have looked at it and we're going to continue to study it. There are lots of ideas out there about how we can bring this together in a way that serves everybody and meets our needs and is specific to Starkville. So we are going to move forward with it in a very measured way.
The board's next meeting is February the 6th.
Mississippi lawmakers end the week on a busy note, and as they tackle two hot-button issues. First up, an equal pay bill is resurrected after the original was successfully amended. In its first run, the bill sought to stop cities and counties from imposing certain employment regulations on private businesses. The latest version of the bill must be voted on by the House before going back to the Senate. Also on the docket, a controversial abortion bill. The bill attempts to ban most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. It is currently 20 weeks in Mississippi. If passed, the state would become the first in the union to have such a law.
Area dentists take a day off to sink their teeth into some of the latest trends in their field.
We go to Tupelo for a checkup after the break.
You're watching WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. Dentists from across Northeast Mississippi spent their day catching up on new techniques and networking with each other. District 1 of the Mississippi Dental Association held its annual meeting at Tupelo's Bancorp South Center. The day-long meeting featured guest speakers covering topics from oral surgery complications to liability insurance for dentists. The meeting also gives members an update on MDA's charitable donations and allows vendors to showcase products and services.
We discussed some of the dental needs here. We also contribute to the Tree of Life Clinic, which is a dental clinic here that serves the underserved. And we're going to be working on a scholarship this year. That's something new that we'll be awarding to a needy dental student.
This is a reoccurring business because it's a health issue. And so our business has been fairly stable over the years, and we picked up new clients, so that helps our business.
District 1 provides separate continuing education credits for hygienists and dental assistants.
February is Women's Heart Health Awareness Month, and the local chapter of a sorority is trying to get people on the move. The Tupelo chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha is hosting an event called Pink Goes Red tomorrow in the gym at Tupelo's Tender Care Learning Center. There will be a boot camp class, health screenings, and a healthy food expo. Organizers want to raise awareness about signs of stroke and heart disease for women.
Heart disease is very, very dangerous for women, especially for African American women, and so we want to bring more attention to that. Maybe, women tend to care about and focus on everyone else but not themselves. So we want to make sure that they are actually focusing on themselves, they're focusing on their heart health, and that they are healthy.
Now you can get in for one canned food item or by bringing a school supply item. The event runs from 10 until noon.
We had some color around here a few minutes ago. This was the view in Tuscaloosa. Some color over there as well this evening. If you're heading on out, jackets needed. No major weather issues here. We're in the 30s, eventually 20s later this evening. Mid to low 20s tonight. Some rain is possible this weekend. We'll talk about that after the break.
Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Gorgeous color out there this evening. Look at this shot. If you're out there about 30 minutes ago in and around the Golden Triangle area, you saw this big burst of color on the western horizon. Some of those clouds coming down in the setting sun. Always a good combination. Look at that light reflecting down there on the water. Thanks to Mike for that great photo. And up towards Caledonia, a burst of color as well. We'd love to see those photos on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, what have you, email as well. This is our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Tupelo. You can see some of those clouds that gave rise to that pretty nice sunset. And those clouds are still with us. So for the most part, we're going to be mainly clear this evening and tonight, but a few clouds out there. We're cooling on down. For you in Tupelo, the cold spot 31, Oxford close at 32, the Golden Triangle area in the mid to upper 30s. So much different here now than we were some 24 hours ago. 40s and 50s still down there along the Gulf Coast. Winds continue from the north at 5 to 10. Those are gradually relaxing, but the wind chill now in some spots into the mid-20s. But fortunately, the wind chill won't be too much colder than the actual air temperature later tonight. But the dew point, these numbers are very low. Lower numbers here, very dry air. So we have a long ways to go if we expect to see some rain this weekend. And we will moisten up the atmosphere tomorrow. You can see these high clouds back down to the southwest, rain showers developing there in southern Texas. That's our rain for tomorrow night and Sunday morning. So basically all of our Saturday during the daylight will be dry, highs around 50, clouds come on in. And our morning showers here on Sunday will wrap up by midday, and it looks like by the afternoon we may start to see some sunshine and get back up into the upper 50s to around 60. So the best chance of rain this weekend, Saturday night, Sunday morning, 1/4 of an inch to perhaps an inch. Let's go towards those lower values when we are in a drought. We'll see what happens. And not a washout all weekend long. That's a good thing here. Not a washout this weekend. High pressure is moving away, and that will give rise to the moistening of the atmosphere, the clouds, the shower chances as we get into tomorrow night and Sunday morning. We'll take any drop that we can get because it is so incredibly dry. But as you can see, a lot of that goes away by midday Sunday. So the weekend not too shabby here. If you miss out on significant moisture this weekend, it looks like perhaps a wetter system Tuesday into Wednesday, perhaps a few stronger storms with that. But overall temperatures will be doing okay. A bit of a roller coaster ride. Don't forget, tonight we're down into the low 20s, but overall 50s and 60s during the day over the next week.
All right, folks in North Mississippi didn't have to go to Pennsylvania to consult this meteorologist. For the 9th year, Chickasaw County residents, locals hosted their own Groundhog Day ceremony as JW, you guys have seen him before, came out of his burrow early this morning. Like Puxatawny Phil, JW also saw his shadow and predicted 6 more weeks of winter.
It's just a little community thing where a bunch of Christian men in the community get together and celebrate Groundhog Day. We get out here, we cook, we eat, we have fun, and just have a great time.
You know, JW's cool with me, but I listen to Keith mostly. I do. This event was free. Donations were taken for St. Jude Children's Hospital. It was a good cause. Oh, I like it. All right, coming up, some big news out of Starkville High as the Yellow Jacket football program makes a major addition to the coaching staff. We'll have the details coming up next in sports.
Starkville High was oh so close to winning the 6A title in football last December, and that's continued to be on the head coach Chris Jones's mind leading into the 2018 season. But this time around, Jones says he wants to seal the deal, and he's making sure he gets it done with a major hire on his coaching staff. 5-year NFL vet Jonathan Banks will be joining Starkville High's coaching staff as the defensive backs coach. Banks, pretty well known around here for his time playing at Mississippi State and during his earlier years, leading East Webster's football team to a state title appearance in 2006 and also won a state title in basketball after that. Banks has been looking to break into the coaching realm in recent months. He will start with the Jackets coming up during spring practice. Congratulations to Jonathan. While we're talking football, spring games are all set. The Maroon White spring game is during the middle of Super Bulldog weekend. It'll be Saturday, April 21st at 3. The Grove Bowl up in Oxford, it's back this year. Ole Miss will host it Saturday, April 7th. That'll be a 1 p.m. kickoff time from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. All right, over to basketball. Quite an evening on the road last night for Mississippi State as the Bulldogs remained undefeated following their largest halftime deficit of the season. Behind a career-high 20 points from Blair Schaefer, Hail State Hoops tops Missouri 57-53 in a slugfest of a game. Perfect season continues on Monday when State hosts arguably the biggest home game in MSU women's basketball history when South Carolina comes to the hump. Vic Schaefer would agree with that assessment.
I think it's a pretty anticipated matchup, and again, just I think it shows our fan base how educated they are. They know the game, they know women's basketball. They have a tremendous amount of respect for South Carolina and their program, and they know it's an opportunity for us to play the team that beat us in the national championship last year. So I think there's a lot of people across the country that have been anticipating this matchup, and you know, we're going to have to play really well. They're awfully good.
Speaking of MSU hoops, the men's team has a major encounter Saturday when they host Georgia. Ben Howland's team beginning to assemble a resume that may entice some postseason suitors, but for now it's all about taking on that other dog from Athens.
They have incredible length and depth. They really play big. They pound it at you inside, get to the line over 20 times a game on average. They're a very good defensive team. They're holding their opponents in conference to like 37% from the field, which I would imagine leads the league, not knowing, but they're probably number 1 in conference games in field goal percentage defense, which to me is always a big. They pound you on the glass. They're just a tough, physical team.
They're very patient. You know, they're not an up-and-down team. They're really one of those teams that just you let them get in their offense, and they're going to execute whatever it's called. So they're a very patient team.
And Eric Holman, Abdul Adu, E.J. Datcher are going to have to deal with Yontae Maton inside. That'll be a big matchup. Ole Miss is going to be on the road to Tennessee. Big opportunity for the Rebels to get a ranked win. So we'll have to see how that all plays out coming up Saturday. It's a big weekend of hoops here in the Magnolia State. Buckle up. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's it for sports. We'll get a last look at your forecast when we return.
Tonight we are cold, mid to low 20s out there. I know it's still winter around here. Now tomorrow we're back to around 50, give or take. Clouds increase. We're dry during the daylight hours, so that's good news if you have anything to do outdoors. Tomorrow night, Sunday morning, some showers around here, and then we'll clear that out by Sunday afternoon. So the weekend had a disaster here. We will salvage a decent weekend.
You like a good weekend.
Yeah, and we need the rain too, so there you go.
Yeah.
Definitely. I heard talking about grass fires
again.
Today. So, all right, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great night.